Hello, my name is Jaanus. I'm Uku's co-founder and CTO, and here to answer any technical or any questions at all. Yes.
Thank you. And I am Margo. I am the head of client relationships and partner relationships in Uku, and I've also been helping our clients for several years on how to implement Uku and how to optimize the processes in their firms. So I'm also a product specialist. All right, but let me then also share my screen. This is the settings and apps part in Uku. And the first use case we want to take you through is about fixed fee invoicing. So many of our clients charge their clients a monthly fixed fee. And this is a very nice use case because it lets you automate your monthly billing very nicely. And let's take a look. Here in the billing app, under the products, this is where you define your products and services. You can also import your products and services from an accounting software, from, let's say, for example, Economic or Xero or QuickBooks Online. So yeah, if you would be integrated with QBO, for example, you could just import all the services from there. And here we have our accounting service, which is a fixed price service, and it runs at $1,800 per month. So we have that already set up here. And we also have a product code linked to this service. So this tells me that it's linked to the QBO. I have the same product also in QBO. And I have also added an internal resource code for this service. All right. The next step, after you have defined your services and products, you go to the contract templates part. And this is the place where you define the master contracts. So the logic in Uku is real simple. You can apply a contract to all your clients, and based on that contract, the billing takes place. And this is the place where you define the master contracts so that it would be easier to add the contracts to your clients. And here we have the fixed fee master contract with the accounting service. All right. If I would make any changes to the master contract, then I could here also easily say that, yes, let's apply all the changes that I have made to all the clients who already had this contract. But I didn't really make any changes right now, so I can just cancel and leave the view. So as the next step, I would go to the clients list, and I can here bulk select all my clients or some of the clients, and I can add the contract to my clients from contract actions. If I want to, I can replace their existing contracts, or I can also add a new contract on top of the already existing ones, or if they don't have any at all. So I can choose the fixed fee contract from here, and I can even say the start date. So in this case, I would want the contract to be active already in April. So this is the way I could then save and apply this master contract template to all the selected clients. Let's take a look at the specific example also. We have Evergreen Catering here, and under their billing tab, we can see that they have several contracts. All the previous ones are finished, and one contract is active. And this is, again, the fixed price accounting service master contract that we just applied. Great. So now all my clients have the contracts. And all I really need to do now is make sure that the invoices will go out. So I can go to the billing tab and open the invoices. And here, what I can see is that I have many draft invoices. So these are the invoices that Uku has already generated for me based on the contract templates that I added to my clients. So all the clients who have the fixed fee contract, they also already have the draft invoices generated for them. And all I now have to do is I can again bulk select them all, or I can select a few of them and I can say create. And by saying create, the invoices have moved on to the next stage, to the next status. And here in the next status, I can again bulk select all the invoices if I want to. And here I can send them out to the client. And if I hit the send button, we're going to send out an email to all of the clients, and the invoices will be attached as PDFs. Alternatively, I can also export to my invoices to the accounting software that I'm integrated with. In this case, in my case, I'm integrated with QBO, so Uku nicely tells me to export to QuickBooks. And this is really as simple as it can be. This is how you can automate your monthly invoices for those fixed fee clients. And as you could see, it only took me a few clicks to select them all, create the invoices, and send them out. Now, if we also take a look at last month's invoices, then here we can see that some of the invoices have been marked as paid. And this status update, in this case, also again is imported back from QBO. So when the invoice is paid in my accounting software, I get the status update back to Uku, knowing that this has been paid now. And when I open the paid invoice, I can see the amount that was paid and when it was paid. So this makes tracking, again, a bit easier. All right. So you have your fixed fee clients. You have charged them all. You have sent out the invoices. They're paying the invoices. Everyone's happy. But are you sure you are charging the appropriate amount for the work? Are you sure you're not doing more than you have agreed to do? Or are you sure you haven't sold a too high price for the client? So you can check that out under Uku's monitoring. In Uku, you can note down the amount of hours that you have kind of agreed to work for the client, or that you are thinking that you will probably spend on the work that the client has requested you to do. So you can mark down, let's say, 40 hours per month. You can also mark down a few extra hours, like I'm planning to do 40 hours per month for this client, but I'm willing to do an additional 8 hours if something comes up.
Yeah, the fee will cover it.
Yes, and then the fee will still cover it. And now, based on the time that you're tracking in Uku, Uku is going to show you where you have actually been doing more than agreed, where you are about in the same range, and where you are doing significantly less than you have agreed. So Uku will nicely show you over the time where you should negotiate your contracts.
And also this is a good place to see that if something is not being done as well, because if it's at end of the month and no work has been done, it's also a warning that something's going on. Maybe someone is sick or something haven't been checked.
Yes.
So it works both ways, not only billing, but for checking that everything gets done as well.
Yes, and you can add other drivers into this also. For example, the number of payslips. You can add drivers like number of transactions you think you're going to process, reports, so you can really track whatever metrics you want to track. All right, but this was our first use case, the monthly fixed fee. And our next use case we want to take you through is the hourly fee based pricing. And of course, we have already created the contract for the hourly pricing, and I will show it to you again based on an example. So we have Apex Analytics here, and here under their billing contracts, you can see that their active contract, let's close this one, their active contract, they have different services that they have agreed with the client: bookkeeping, payroll, consultation, and all of these services, they are charging by the hour. So based on how many hours they work, that's how much the client is going to pay them. If you would want to, Uku allows you to also combine different types of services on one invoice. So you can have your flat fee service, your hourly service, maybe even charging by quantity if you're doing some
price
specific,
ranges.
Yeah, and price ranges. You can combine them all on one contract and on one invoice if you want to. So Uku has that flexibility.
Even what's pretty popular is that you have already made a fixed agreement that 4 hours is free, and after that it will be charged. So all cases like that as well.
Yes, exactly. And here I'll just show you one example. We have said that all the tasks in Uku which have the topic payroll, will be summarized, and the hours from all those tasks with this topic in this month will be summarized on the invoice. And we can also take a look at a few invoices for this client. For example, we have their April invoice. We can see that we did 3 hours of payroll services for them and 1 hour of consultation. And these hours show up on the invoice. Or then let's take a look at their May invoice. And in May, we have only really worked 1 hour for them, only had done 1 hour of bookkeeping services. So we only charge that 1 hour. And again, as you can see, this invoice is a draft which has been generated by Uku. So throughout the month, you can always take a look at how much you have actually already spent for this client. So if you have a client who's with a very limited budget, this also helps you to keep track that you don't go over the budget if you have those cases.
And the invoices are actually calculated real time. So whenever you click on it, it will update all the numbers necessary. So you can check them out anytime. You don't have to wait.
Yeah. So anytime during the month, you get a clear overview of where you're at. All right. And again, we also have the paid invoices from previous months here, nicely showing when it was paid and what the amount was. All right. So this was the case for the hourly pricing. And now we have a bit of a different case to show you. So this is our third use case, ad hoc services. So let's call them also these one-off services that come in from time to time. And you need to charge them when they take place, but you might not always know exactly when you have to do them. So I have this client. They're a new client for me, Blue Sky Travel Agency. And from time to time, they ask me to do some financial reporting for them. And since they're a new client, we haven't really worked out a specific system yet, like what kind of reports do they want and how often. We're still working on that. But I do know that they do want the financial report from time to time. So on the contract template, I have defined the fixed price service, which they pay every month. And I have also added this additional service for financial reports. And this is going to be added on the invoice only if there is a task with the field price and that field has been filled. So through this, managing this additional field on the task, I can very clearly manage if this row ever shows up on the invoice or not. And I'm going to show you also how it works on the tasks. So let's say they called me today and they told me that, right, I want my financial report now. All right, so I got the task. Obviously, I have automated everything I can automate. So I have created myself a task template, create financial report. All right. And on this task now that I just created for myself, I have this field price. I have a predefined value here already. So this is the standard value that I would charge for this financial report. If I want to, I can still edit it for this time, make it smaller, make it bigger, depending on what they requested me to do. I can add checklist items if I need to remind myself to do something additional that I don't usually do. And now I can also define a different time when to build this task. So usually Uku calculates the services done for the invoice based on the task start time and based on the time entry start time. So when the work was started, it's going to be charged. But in this case, it's already the end of the month. And I'm really not sure I'm going to make it until the end of May to finish this financial report. And this is a one-off task, so I don't want to charge it before I have actually done it. So I want to charge it when I've actually completed the work. So I could either choose a custom date for charging this work.
For next month.
Yeah, right. Or I could just say that, you know what, please charge it when the task is finished. And that's it. I'm going to add the task for myself. I have this task here now. It shows up on my dashboard. It shows up in my task list. I can work on the task. If I need to, I can still edit all the fields. And I can either track time or not track the time. The moment I set this task done is when it's actually going to go on the invoice. So this gives you a lot of flexibility in deciding when you actually want to charge something.
And this also gives you an opportunity when you discover that someone did some work for the past month and it was not billed or the invoice is already sent out. You can find these items and tell them that I want to invoice them this month or next month, so we can pick up the unbilled work as well. And by that customize when it will be billed.
Yeah, exactly.
Without editing invoice or anything, it will automatically, with the contract, go to the invoice.
Yes, that's actually a very good point, Janos. When you are editing the fields on the task to say when it should be billed, you don't ever have to go back to the contract template. You don't have to go to the invoice. You don't have to edit those things that are already working for you on a monthly basis. Those will stay stable and continue working throughout the months. And you can just one time add those additional work there. All right. So we have covered 3 use cases. Our 4th use case is intercompany billing, also known as bill the parent
company.
Yeah. So we have companies who have subsidiaries, and the parent company sometimes want to get one invoice for services that also the subsidiary companies or the work that has been done for the subsidiaries. So we are also going to release that feature for Uku to enable that. And of course, I have a case, the use case, an example to show you for this also. So we have the Golden Gate marketing here. And under Golden Gate's billing settings, I can say that please bill my parent company. And here I have also said that merge all the invoices into one.
From the same period, yeah.
Yes, for the same period. So as we said before also, you can have several active contracts for one client. And if you don't merge the invoices into one, then based on each contract, we're going to generate a separate invoice. But if you want to have all the services, regardless of how many contracts you have defined, if you still want to have only one invoice per month, then you can say merge them all into one. And this is where you do it. And what we have also set up for Golden Gate is that we have set up the parent company. So we have Alpha Omega here, and I can easily just move over to Alpha Omega by clicking on its avatar here. And here under Alpha Omega Industries, I have the same billing settings set up that please combine all my invoices together. And here under the invoices, I can see my May draft invoice. And let's hide the client sidebar again. And here I can also see that I have the accounting service twice. So one row is for Alpha Omega, and the second row is then for the subsidiary for the Golden Gate marketing company.
And actually you can have placeholders, variables for these invoice lines as well. You can put the invoice month over there. You can put the original client name over there. So you can have let's say a combined invoice from the 3 different subsidiaries, and everyone has their own name there. So what kind of services you have done. So everything can be backtracked and so on.
Yeah. So for example, you could have here accounting services Golden Gate, accounting services Alpha Omega, payroll Golden Gate, payroll Alpha Omega, and again, different pricing logic could also show up on the same invoice.
And even some pre-sales for the next period as well. You can take the next period, it will be a prepaid invoice for that one. So you can combine anything basically with these placeholders.
True. All right. So this is really how simple it was to charge the parent company. This was really all that you need to do. Just link the parent company and say that please send my invoices to them. And that's it, done. And again, invoices generated automatically. All you have to do is send them out. All right. We have already covered 4 use cases, and we promised to talk about 5. So this is the 5th one coming up, and I'm really excited about this because I've been asked about this one, and I know there's a lot of people who are waiting for it. So happy to introduce our fifth use case is finding the unbilled revenue and tracking the work that I haven't yet charged. So in Uku, you get to see a report of all the work that you haven't yet charged for your client. So you can nicely see the work time. Is it time-based? Was it the tax report? What was the task type that you were doing? You can see the task name that you were working on, the client. You can even see the user who worked on this. And now this is really helpful because in some cases the work is, so there can really be like two typical cases where the work is unbilled. One case is that your employee just didn't enter the work on time and entered the time later. So the invoice was already sent out while your employee was still entering their hours. So this is the case where you really want to see which user is this unbilled work related to. So you could have a conversation with them and just make sure that you're never in the situation again. And the other case is that there can be some issues or maybe there are some issues with how the contract template has been set up. Maybe some tasks haven't been set up properly. Maybe some topics were missing. Maybe some custom fields were missing. And maybe that's the reason why some of the work just didn't show up on the invoice because the setup wasn't 100% proper. So this is the other case that you can see here then, like which were the tasks that didn't show up. And then you can do the further investigation, like why didn't they show up?
There will be additional report as well for the example Markut explained. So you can see what kind of work was done for the client, but the contract didn't cover it. But you do have your master products for additional fees, additional tax reports. And this tax report was not in this client's contract, but someone did the work. So we can find out it was not billed, but you have that kind of service to be billed. And the unbilled revenue, how we check it is actually when you have locked some invoices, the period has been locked, we will find out what has been added to that period and was not on the invoice. And you can actually do that past, even check the whole year, what has been missing out, just to see what kind of mistakes can be avoided and maybe even something can be billed. It's, I think, most important thing that work that has been done should be billed, and you can find it as fast as possible with this report. And the easiest way would be to click on the task as well and just say, hey, I can bill this next month, or let's do an agreement with the customer and how we can bill it later.
Yes, and you can also, you can download the work that you haven't billed. You can download it into a PDF or an Excel file, and you can easily then send it also to the client and say like, look, this is the report. This is the work that we have marked down. Yeah. Yes, the services that we have marked down as extra work, which is not in our contract. But as you can see, they are taking up a certain amount of our time. So let's renegotiate. Let's agree how to charge this fairly. And I am pretty sure that it's very clear for all sides that if a service is being provided, then it's fair to charge for it.
And if it happens commonly, it's you can easily add it with the master contract to all your clients that you will be tracking the extra time, and it will come out over there, and you don't have to email them later on.
Exactly. Nice. All right. Yeah. So these were the 5 use cases that we wanted to tell you about. Of course, there's a lot more that you can do in Uku, and there are a lot more complex setups that we can do. But probably would make sense to discuss those one-on-one. So if you have some specific use cases that you don't yet know how to set up, or if you want to investigate if this can be set up in Uku, just book a demo. We'll be happy to walk through those cases with you. Most importantly, what we want you to take with you from today is that you can really set up your master products and master contracts and set up your billing in Uku so that it would really just take you minutes each month to just select invoices, create, and send them out. This is what we wanted you to experience, that it really can be that easy. And then, of course, the second point being that you can track that unbilled revenue. You can figure out also where you're doing more, where you are doing less, and where you haven't charged. So you can get a very good insight, very good overview of what's really going on inside your team and what's the status with your cash flow and the actual work effort.
And of course, we have some more new reports coming as well. In the billing side, we have revenue split, meaning you can actually track the amount of money was billed to the client, how much work your people did to earn that, but based by resource share or based by actual work done. So you can track these kind of reports as well.
Yeah, and most of these features that we showed you today are already in Uku Live environment, so you can already use them. And some of the features, such as this unbilled revenue also, we're going to release them in 2 weeks. So it won't be long until you can also use these. And we will, of course, let you know when the release is done and all the features are there.
Yeah.
All right. What is definitely also worth mentioning is that if you see something in the billing features that you feel like you're missing or that's really not working in the way that you would kind of expect it to work, we always welcome that feedback. All the features that we have shown you today, these are all the things that we have developed based on what our clients have told us about what they need and how they like to work. So we always welcome that feedback.
And of course, we have small tips and tricks. Let's say that there are many things like topics that are in Uku that you can say what kind of tasks are grouped under what topic, and do I want to build that topic at all or not? And so you can really fine tune your automated billing that has to go to the invoice and never can go there. So you can really fine tune it. And once you have done that basic master contract or examples of different kind of contracts, you can really easily from the one contract update all your clients. And also set up that will every invoice line be shown even if the quantity is 0, or do you want to hide them? So you can have a full service evidence for the client, even if some services were not done, or just the ones that were done. So everything can be seen on the invoice as service evidence.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.